Daniel, thanks for joining us this afternoon. So, after a lengthy 3-day NEC meeting, the NEC have come out and announced that they are not supporting the motion of no confidence on Jacob Zuma. What did you make of today's announcement?
Well, I think there was no real surprise. It was unlikely that the NEC would throw Jacob Zuma to the wolves, so to speak. There are too many question marks still relating to Jacob Zuma's legal charges against him, the 780-odd charges that I think would need to be resolved in some form or other before, in fact, he goes into retirement. Secondly, I don't think there was sufficient critical mass within the NEC to support his early retirement. Clearly, there were those within the NEC who were prepared to stand up and speak out for the first time. This was the most confrontational NEC meeting on the issue of Jacob Zuma's future. But ultimately, I think the ANC want their normal processes. In other words, the consultative conference and elective conference next year, at the end of next year, to be a natural conduit or a natural point in which new leadership can be installed. And I think that was made clear in the press conference this afternoon. So instead, I think of forcing the issue early. Instead, I think of risking or precipitating even more factions and possible splits if Zuma had to be shunted aside early. The party has gambled upon another year, perhaps, of Jacob Zuma, with the hope that by the end of next year, that elective conference will be a more natural point in which to replace Jacob Zuma as president of the ANC.
Now, Daniel, do you think that the media perhaps really ran with this one? I mean, Jacob Zuma, with his 9 or 10 lives, every time there's a vote of no confidence, a notion for an impeachment, and this, every time, the buzz around it is this could be it. Jacob Zuma could be impeached, he could step down, and but the NEC coming out saying there was no such robust debate. There wasn't, in fact, even a vote. So where's this sort of talk coming from?
And look, I think there was opposition to Jacob Zuma. I think there's enough evidence to suggest, even from the admission from Gwede Mantashe this afternoon, that issues surrounding Zuma's future longevity in the position was discussed and was raised. And I think we've seen enough evidence also from the very public statements from Jackson Mthembu, for example, only in the last few weeks, calling on President Zuma and the entire NEC to resign. There's no shying away from the fact that President Zuma today does face more internal opposition than ever before. And we also have evidence that within ANC branch structures and even within some of the regional structures, there have been calls for the president to stand aside. So I think that there is a degree of deep discontent within the ANC. It's partially a reflection upon the personal issues surrounding Jacob Zuma and also partially surrounding the poor election results for the ANC in August. And these are now beginning to penetrate that once impenetrable wall of the NEC. And that is significant in itself, that this debate did happen and that we are in a position where the president, I think, has been further weakened. But look, I don't think the ANC are ready for an early departure for Jacob Zuma for the reasons that I've outlined. And I also don't think the ANC necessarily want a repeat of the shunting aside of Thabo Mbeki, which caused indeed an ultimate split in the ANC, the formation of COPE at that particular point. The real risk for the ANC is not doing anything, is stagnating, is failing to act and failing to reinvigorate their leadership. And I would certainly argue that the ANC need every single day between now and the 2019 election with fresh leadership in order to kickstart their branches, to instill a degree of enthusiasm in the organization, and to fight a rising opposition, the EFF and the DA within South Africa. And by not taking any stand in this NEC meeting over the weekend, the ANC really retards its own ability to start to revitalize and reboot the organization by up to a year, assuming Zuma remains in office now until the end of next year. And I think that's the real risk, the political risk for the ANC. They already took a political risk by running with Jacob Zuma as their front of face for these local government elections. Look where it got them. Again, they will lose a year in terms of revitalizing their organization And I think that's going to cause further internal dissension and factionalization within the organization, certainly in the next 12 months.
Finally, Daniel, I mean, it's pretty obvious that Jacob Zuma is progressively losing more support. And I mean, they talk about there being a new face in 2019. Do you think it will happen before then?
Well, certainly, I think if you listen to carefully what Mantashe did say this afternoon, he made reference to the fact that there will be a new ANC president by the end of next year, and that person will be the front face for the ANC by 2019. Ultimately, Jacob Zuma has only a few years left in terms of our constitution, and ultimately there will be a new face. Now, assuming that new face is indeed elected at the end of next year, the ANC is then taking a gamble that from January 2018 to, let us say, March or April 2019, that new face, whether it's Ramaphosa and Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, or for that matter, somebody else, that over that period of 13, 14 months, there will be enough time to, again, strengthen the structures and to inject some enthusiasm into ANC voters and for many voters who stayed away from the polls in this last election. And that's really the tough gamble for the ANC. Will they, by the end of next year, be able to elect someone who really is, I think, commands respect from South Africans, and particularly from those ANC supporters and former ANC supporters who just have felt very alienated from the Party of Liberation under Jacob Zuma.
All right, Daniel, thank you very much for your insight this afternoon.
Thanks, Nick.